Abdul Hafiz Muhammad.
Thank you. Assalamu alaikum. In the name of Allah, the Beneficent, the Merciful, we thank Him for His wonderful gift that He has of life that He has given to the human being. We are thankful for the knowledge of His reality in the person of Master Farad Muhammad. We are thankful for the servant that He raised up, our exalted servant, the most honorable Elijah Muhammad, and the anointed servant that is in our midst, the honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan. Welcome to Muhammad Mosque number 7, to all of those who preceded our program, and our presence of our wonderful and honorable brother, the incomparable D.Gregory. Let's give him a well-deserved round of applause as you see him here with us this evening. He may speak of this, but he lived right next door to the home of the messenger of God, whom now we see as the exalted Christ, the Messiah, the most honorable Elijah Muhammad. He loves the nation of Islam. He loves and respects the honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan. We at Mosque number 7 have developed a personal relationship with him as well. We were upstairs talking, but he was gathering all of this information. And if I could just tell you the stuff he just dropped on me and those who were upstairs just a moment ago, my God, but that's for D.Gregory to do it. This man has been an actor, he has been a comedian, but more than that, he's a scholar, he's a teacher. He changed the era of civil rights. He's an established author on the death of Malcolm, Martin Luther King Jr., JFK. I mean, the information he has on Trayvon that he'll talk about today. Just a wealth and a treasure trove of information. On behalf of the mighty FOI, our student captain, Richard Muhammad, on behalf of Brother Charles Muhammad, our FOI paper captain, and the idea to pull it together, and the MGT and GCC of Mosque number 7 and the believers and those, we thank Gary Bird and WLIB. We thank Brother Leroy Shabazz Muhammad and his internet program and the communicators. We thank all of you. Now let's give Brother D.Gregory on New York Mosque number 7. Welcome here with us as we greet you. Assalamu alaikum. Let's bring on D.Gregory.
Thank you very much. Let me first say we thank and praise God that we have all made it here safely today. And I pray to God that your return and my return will be equal as safe. I must apologize to white folks because I've really been convinced that all black folks look alike to them. And then President Obama is in the White House, and I haven't had one white person walk up to me and say, "Excuse me, Mr. President." So I guess we don't all look alike, huh? And in my prayers, I pray now that if I could be born over again, God, just let me be white. White folks are the luckiest people on the whole planet. When they finally end up with a Negro president, they get one that's behaved. Don't scare him when he talk. Went to day school. I ran for the presidency, remember, in 1968? And had I won, I would have probably scared y'all. The first thing I would have done after I got sworn in, I would dig up that rose garden and plant me a watermelon patch. And every head of state that would come to visit America, we wouldn't have no more steak dinners. We'd just eat watermelon on the balcony. And spit the seeds all the way out there on Pennsylvania Avenue. But they really lucked up and got a nice behaved. He went out there to, what was it, Arizona, and that white governor shook her finger in his face. Oh, she's lucky, because it'd been me, I'd have ate it. And washed that other one too. I got a strong appetite today, you know. Somewhere. And let me apologize to all you black educators. I have about 50 honorary doctor's degrees from black colleges. I'm happy over it, but that little Negro part is still there. Can't get it out. I'm trying. I just knew if I could just get one white honorary doctor's degree, I could sleep a little better. 10 years I've been writing white colleges. Can't hear from none of them. Till last month, I got a call from Penn State. And offered me an honorary doctor's degree. I said, no thanks. You know, it's interesting. You live, I guess sometimes you get so close to it, you can't even feel it. That close, you can't even feel it. I'm sitting here listening to them argue last year, going into the election, gay rights, military, don't ask, don't tell. Y'all crazy? You ever see President George Washington with them tight satin pants on, little short high heel shoes, little ruffled shirt, a wig, and powder? Now we still arguing over same-sex marriages, please. I'm 81 years old. Been married 54 years. Oh, wait. There you go. I didn't say I was happy. And I listened to all the black ministers come out. When Obama came out for same-sex marriage, and the black ministers, they was mad. Called for a boycott, don't vote for him. Now, I said, I'm 81. My mother used to take me to church with her before I could walk. But I could hear the old folks talking. You know, Reverend Gully, he's funny. The choir director, strange. I'm a little boy. They was talking about gays in the church back then, and now white folks act like they mad at it, so they act like they never heard of nothing like that. I used to hear them discuss it. I sure would hate to be a young child now with all the mixed messages. See, I was born before there was television. Can you imagine how ignorant you got to be to listen to a tap dancer on the radio? Somewhere. with a cousin, serious Muslim. I said, Merry Christmas. I don't celebrate no whitey Christmas holiday. I say, anytime Christmas falls on a Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and your bank closed, you celebrate it. So somewhere, when you stop and think about the mess we older folks have left you, the ones that's supposed to be right, and we just fall into it because that's my mother. Well, suppose Hitler was your daddy. That make it right? It's a game. Now these youngsters is coming through with a new rhythm. Somewhere. I met with some white folks the other day because I'm planning on opening up a black business. But I need to get one white so I can get those minority loans. And the white dude, he likes me. He was discussing the business, and I said, I'm talking about an airline business, a black airline business, named Tamika Air. And our motto is, we leave late, but we get you there on time. And we're going to be a good Christian airline. We ain't selling no whiskey on that flight. You bring your own whiskey, we sell you the setups. And I tell white folks, all y'all need to fly on my plane, because y'all white folks, y'all been to the airport. Now anything happened to the airport, you can't blame on us. Airport, that's 99.9% white folks. And I tell them that. Now, if you come to Greyhound, got some complaints, bring it to me. Oh, yeah, that's me. But y'all just need to go and look and see the beauty of black folks at Greyhound. And then look how dysfunctional white folks are at the airport. The jet age is the most powerful energy force in the history of the planet. And they make them white folks walk 2 or 3 miles to get to the plane. Check out Greyhound, where we are. They bring that bus up to your toe. Stand in line. None of them complain. And if they lose your bags, they act like you didn't have none. About 18 months ago, I flew back in from London, and they couldn't find none of my bags. So the woman said, well, look, why don't you go upstairs and talk to the supervisor. I went up there. Supervisor got on my suit. And that's a heck of a thing, isn't it? You going to talk to some higher about your stuff, and he wearing it. And that conversation they give you on the plane. We don't expect no problems, but in case. You been on an airplane, brother, when they tell you about that oxygen? If you're traveling with a little child, put yours on first. I was planning on doing that anyway. Have they ever sit in there by that emergency exit? Huh? And that just show you how naive white folk can be. They said, we only seat we have. I know you got a first class ticket, but an emergency exit. I go there. I had to get off that plane. And she said, in case there's an emergency, we want you to do this. I don't work for Delta. You heard him say that, right? In case there's an emergency, we want you to read this so you know what your duties are. Well, lady, look, I brought a briefcase on here, and if anything happens to this plane, I'm not even planning on getting my briefcase. You know I ain't gonna help nobody that I don't know. Yeah, she acts like I'm been hired by Delta. That's why I tell them about Greyhound. Yeah, you lose your bag on Greyhound, you don't have to wait no 5 or 6 hours before the bus get in the terminal. They say all the bags got ripped off in Memphis, so don't hang around. So I'm on Greyhound. It was a big snowstorm and all the airports were shut down. This white guy was sitting next to me. He said, they said, there'd be no bags. What do you do? I said, well, you don't do nothing. They already told you. There's no bags. They got ripped off in Memphis. Now at the airport, they say lost and found. At Greyhound, they just say lost. They don't even pretend they're going to find it. You get off, and they say your bags didn't show up, so go over there in the bag and just get you a couple. It's a game. Airplane crash. They act like they didn't have that plane. Let's see. No, we don't see that. Okay. You there crying, worrying about your loved ones. And then when they admit it, they're going to have an investigation which runs about 12 years. Greyhound don't deal like that. Where's my loved one, my lover? Just hold it a minute. We checking. I think we had more than one Greyhound bus crash. See, we don't lie about ours like America and them do. We had a big crash last week, and we told the folks that we sure everybody down that mountaintop is dead. Well, y'all just go ahead home, get you something to eat, because it's going to be a long wait. Well, what do you think caused it? Oh, we know the driver was on crack. Now, you on an airplane, crashes, got a wife and a family, children in school, paying for a house. You know how long those cases take? And they got the greatest lawyers in the world because they do it every day. You can come down there with your cousin, just finished law school, can't even find a job, but he representing you. 12 years, a lawyer gets 40%. Huh? 40%. Now, Greyhound, loved one, they just come right up and tell you, they got their checkbook in their hand. Now, we don't have to go through no lawsuit or nothing like that. But how much was he worth to you? Okay? Write you out a check right there, $12 million. And you know that messed you up. 3 days later, you got to go to his funeral and try to act sad. Somewhere, it's moving that fast. Now they're trying to convince everybody that black folks and white folks are saying, you know, that's a lie. Listen to that Cialis commercial. And if it lasts for 4 hours, go to the emergency room. Where I come from, that's called a treat. And they run it in your living room, in front of your children. My little 4-year-old grandchild walked up to me one day and said, "Granddad, what's an erection?" I said, "Go ask your grandmother." See, one day when black men understand how bright you are, the strongest two forces in the history of America has always been the black woman and the black church. Always. So he went and asked his grandmother, and he came back with that smile on his face. I said, "What did she tell you?" "Well, she told me she'll tell me later, but for me to tell you, she haven't seen one of them things around the house in years." And to you sisters, that's the only reason this white, insane thug is worried. He's not worried about black men. We'll go to his war, kill who he don't like, and while I'm over there, the Supreme Court say, "You don't have a right to vote no more," and I come back smiling and don't do nothing about it. And that don't bother you. That don't bother you. A black man is the only man on the planet that calls his wife strong, but calls his car beautiful. Come on by the house, I want to show you this beautiful car I just got. No, brother. Your lady is beautiful, and your car is strong. And we sit. And black women, you got to stop that. Talk about the problem in the black community. Ain't no black man at home. We ain't home when we home. All upset what white folks have done downtown and get home and get angry. Yeah. Now you go out your way to kind of make us feel good. Birthday is today, and my lady done fixed me a apple cobbler. And you ask him, "How you like it, dear?" "I'm eating it, ain't I?" That's affection. Come home, yelling at the boys. That's Pop. He ain't mad at me. He mad what them white folks did downtown that he wouldn't say nothing to them about it. Then gonna come home and tell me, "Nigga, this is my house. I'll kill you." That's my dad talking to me like that. See, I've been to work with him, and I see how he behaved. I thought he was another person. Somewhere. But we can make a difference. Huh? You wasn't made by General Motors or the First National Bank. You made by the same God that put the whole planet together. And that God ain't never made no junk. Don't listen to what he say about you. We all got here the same way. A penis that God made went into a vagina that God made. And out of that penis came 500 million sperms. And the one responsible for you, like the one responsible for me, outran 500 million sperms and got there first. Don't tell me I'm somebody. Out of 500 million sperms, you looking here at the sperm that got there first. sperm didn't come out slowly strolling up the fallopian tube. That's who you are. That's who we are. Somewhere. My poor mother, well, she's serious Christian. My mother been dead for years, but if she walked in here now, you think God spit her out. That's how humble and beautiful and kind she is. But if you tried to explain to my mother that Jesus Christ wasn't a Christian, she would stomp you to death. For she didn't know Christianity never happened until 200 years after Christ was dead. That's my mama. Somewhere. She didn't know who King James was. She didn't know King James was King of England. She didn't realize that King James was such a weird, strange homosexual. He hated women so bad he killed his mama. And his lover was Lord Buckingham, who Buckingham Palace is named after. Somewhere. Here's a thug that stole me from Africa and got nerve enough to be scared of me. Then won't you take me back? Somewhere. And it make me not like me. I've been married 54 years because thank God I know who a black woman is. That's right. Somewhere. You have to feel that at night when you go to bed. Huh? Don't turn on no news and let them tell you who you are. Any white boy, now a white woman, that want to be a police is in serious trouble. That's a bad job. But that's the only job he can get. And he didn't like me before he got a gun. Think about that. Think about that. And then think about you. If there's some folks riding around and they got the authority to ride around in the neighborhood, but they'll jump out the car and grab you and rape you. And your mother and father is teaching you, if you see him coming, behave. Behave. Don't run. Don't raise your voice. How do you get so low down in spirit that you're going to teach your child how to behave with filth? You should be telling the rapists. Y'all do that with police brutality. You take a human being created by the universal God and say, now y'all behave. Them white police walk up to you, don't talk too fast. No. I got a DNA mom and dad that you don't control. Huh? You don't control. And when you telling me that, I might be quiet and listening to you, but I don't respect you. How are you going to lecture me about how polite I have to be? Come on now. Because I'm going to meet somebody that might kill me. Right. No, you need to go lecture the police how they better be. Because they don't even know why their behavior is like it is. If y'all lived in a house where the kitchen had this beautiful paint on the wall, but it's lead paint. And there's a possibility that your children will end up with lead poisoning. Now hear this. If lead paint on the wall can give me and my children lead poisoning, then how dumb is a cop to wear lead bullets around his belly 18, 20, at least 8 hours a day? If the paint will give you lead poisoning, think about them bullets, right? That's what's wrong with them. More cops die every year in America from suicide than killed in the line of duty, and they ain't even traced that back to lead. The #1 divorce occupation in America is cops, and their second wives is prostitutes. So you walking past a sick, insane person, and my mom gonna tell me to respect them, because if you try to run from them or stop them from kissing you, they'll hurt you. There's something wrong with that. Me and my brother was fighting every day. She never lectured me and him about how we should treat one another, but she gonna lecture me on how to treat a cop that might kill me today. The boys go out at night, going to a party, and you can't sleep at night worrying about, well, something happened to them if the cop grabs them. Right. Hear me, black woman. I know who you are. White folks bring all the drugs in the country. Yes, they do. That's right. Yes, they do. But that's not a white person in your neighborhood selling it. That's right. Think about that. That's a black baby that came out of your black belly, mama. Yeah. The one that we had birthday parties and celebrated Christmas, had little bitty feet. We washed little bitty socks. And now that thing done growed up and you scared of it. How can you be scared of something that come out your belly? Huh? That called you mommy and you call him son. And now that thing standing on the corner, and now you got to go to the drugstore to get your prescription for your arthritis, and you got to walk through black thugs standing on the corner in your neighborhood. Right. And they have no more respect for themselves. No. Not to feel the pain of my mama. And she got to say, how you doing, Richard? She got to peacefully coexist with me. Huh? This trash that's on the corner. Huh? Mother, you ain't a mother until you walk up and tell that boy, I'm not tolerating this out of you. You gonna get off this corner or kill me. I'm responsible for you. You're not going to terrorize me. You won't go in a white neighborhood to buy a loaf of bread, let alone sell something illegal. That's what you old folks today. Yeah, that's what you are old. We messed up our bodies so bad, we want to talk about I'm elderly, I'm a senior. You old. When y'all go home today, get the baby pictures out. You have baby pictures of some of the children? Things like that? Do you? Do you? No, I'm talking to you, man. Do you? I just asked a simple question. You have any? Yes, pull them out and look at them. if they pass 8 years old, don't look. No, that's not funny. From the time they born to the time they 8 years old, you cannot look at them pictures and see a hoe or a tramp or a murderer or a soldier or a cop. That happens after they get in your house. It didn't come from the universal God. After they get there, they learned that from you. The vibrations they pick up from you. And then after a certain period, that little innocent look change. Change. Somewhere. This whole thing can change. Your attitude. You die for America with all this filth. I remember one day I was in St. Louis. Wife, 10 children. Y'all so busy worrying about the children, you don't worry about their liberation. I'm in St. Louis, where I was born. One of the biggest, blackest ministers in St. Louis called me and said, my son said, you'd be in town and this arthritis is so bad. He said, he know you can help me. I left my hotel to walk to the health food store. And as I'm walking, the white cop said, come here, boy. Well, I didn't have to stop because I knew he wasn't talking to me. So I kept walking. And he ran and grabbed me and said, boy, I say stop. Well, I stopped. I didn't say nothing. He said, that store right there, that health food store, you look like the person that went in there and was shoplifting. So he put the handcuffs on me. I felt good about that because I wasn't going to stop when he told me. And the next thing I was waiting to hear something go boom. But when you stand up with that universal spirit that you was born with, they get scared. That's right. That's right. Y'all know that. You be scared of a dog, little bitty poodles will jump over a fence after you. You're not afraid of a dog, Rottweilers jump over the fence getting away from you. It's in here. That's right. So he carried me across the street and put me in the police car. And the black folks started gathering. He didn't know who I was. So he called for backup. Black captain pulled him to the side. He really messed up today. So the black captain came to me to apologize. He said, give me these keys. I said, what's that for? He said, take these hands. No, you're not. Y'all got a lawsuit. Yeah. So here's what the black cop did. Huddled with the white cop and went into the health food store. I wish I owned. That God is such a lovely God. Yes, he is. Yes, he is. When you be lovely. They came out with a Mexican dishwasher and said, is that the one? Yeah. I said, come here, brother, let me tell you something. I said, I guess you need this job, but I own this store. Not only did I shoplift, I hadn't even been in the store today. Now, you go tell them that you just lied. And he did. Now they really mad. They take me down, book me. All over the world, D.Gregory arrested for shoplifting. Next day, 1,000 people outside the jail. I called my wife and said, cancel all my dates and tell them I'll rebook them and it won't cost them nothing. And I stayed in that town 6 weeks. I was born there. They had a place called the Stroll, where white men come in from all over. And the black women is strolling like you see them doing on TV when they modeling fashions. So we organized, held a press conference, and said, ain't nobody gonna stroll down this street no more. So you white folk can stay away. So one of the white press people said, Mr. Gregory, you saying prostitution is white men? Yeah, for the benefit of white men. That's my sister. I get her for free. So let her go and let them sit downtown in front of the First National Bank. See, most folks don't know what honky means. All the major prostitution at one time took place in black neighborhoods. And black men couldn't go to it. It was a place where white men could be comfortable because they would never see nobody that knew them, including the white preacher. And they would pull up to the house and honk their horn. And that's when the brother would come out, take them in, and go punk their car. That's where the word honky come from. Honk, honk. We didn't invent that. And somewhere, grandmother, great-grandmother, mother deserves better than what we let her go through. Soldier, all over the world, killing folks. You can't even pronounce or spell the country you in. Right there at home. Black men, you got to feel what this woman goes through walking past these dope pushes to get her prescription filled. And that don't bother you? And you wonder why most folks don't respect you? You wonder why you got to dress up to do this and do that, because you feel your filth. Oh, if you only knew who this sister was. Thank God I knew. A black woman in America is the only woman that can take a butter knife and cut your tires to the rim. No flamethrower, no bazooka. And as black men, we know you ain't went to school and studied that. We know you don't slip out the house and take lessons. Hear me, a butter knife will cut your tire, and that tire got a 20-year guarantee. It'll go from here to California, back to New York, roll over, all kind of stuff, and nothing happens to it. It make her mad. Who is Melba? Why? She just go and run your bath water. Finish ironing your handkerchief. And you go out, make your little phone. Melv, I'll be there in a minute. You go there, and all your ties is gone. And you haven't stopped to say, wait a minute, how can she do that? My son called me the Friday before Super Bowl, Sunday. Hear me good now. 60% of all college football games are fixed. So you know what happened with the pros. That's what happened to Michael Jordan. They were shaving points. And it was so obvious, just like these baseball players now. Steroids. But wait a minute. The white owners, huh? They didn't see their heads getting bigger. They buy the hats. They buy the helmets. How was it you was in a 7 last year and now you in a 24? Then they get caught. And nobody talks about the owners and the doctors. You notice rich white folks will never let their children play a contact sport.
That's right.
Did y'all see what happened at the University of Mississippi? I was there. The president asked me would I be down there with him the day he went in. It was 40 white children killed. And not one paper ran that story. Not one. That was way back in the 60s. Ole Miss. When Obama won the second time, that same school had riots. I don't have no problem with that. I have a problem with you keep sending your children to that vicious, nasty, ungodly, spiritual, thuggish school. That don't bother you? Somewhere is a nasty game more important to you than what the universal creator gave you? Somewhere. So in the process of investigating Michael Jordan, they caught up with some others. Magic. So the white people got together and said, we got to do something. Those two are basketball. So what can we do? Well, just get them out the game and it'll stop. Get them out. So they had Magic say he had AIDS.
Listen.
He's the only person I know with AIDS gained weight.
Wake us up.
What is it about you that you love athletes and entertainers, even if you don't know them? What is it? There's more of you in this room and in this nation of Islam that have done more for the humanities than 99.9% of all the athletes and entertainers put together. But you'll chase after it. See, I know y'all. So you young folks didn't know. I know them. They went in there. They was trifling before they went in. They would drink, argue. Here's how you know something happened. As much as America hates the Nation of Islam, you better not be caught with no dope. They can't even frame you, you too clean. Minister Farrakhan called for a 1 million man march.
Come on now.
Not women, just all by yourself. I'm always planning on going, but something happened to me 4 months before. I'm in LA, I'm just coming off of a 30-day water fast. And I went down to get me some water and got 4 of them gallons. And I didn't realize how weak I was. And I'm walking up this hill and I'm so angry. Whew. And I see this brother painting this house. D.Gregory, D.Gregory. He runs over 6 months before the march. And he pulls out his ticket. He's already bought it for the march. And I sit there and cry. Thank you, God, for blessing me to see this. Run across the street to show me I got my ticket. I'll be there. And I called my wife. I said, I know it's going to be a success. Now understand what that march was about. Not one white newspaper wrote about it. Didn't hear anything about it until 3 days before the white folks say something strange is happening in Washington, D.C. Say, how you know? Say, you can't get a hotel room within a 100-mile radius. Buses is getting permits to park 40 or 50 miles away. What's going on? Butler Aviation. Huh? For a 200-mile radius was no parking. Black men coming in from Europe on their own jets. Grandpa ain't never gonna be nothing but a cold-blooded Baptist. That's what they say. But he was there. That's right. And I bought my 3 sons. I said, I want to show you something. Now hear me. I said, we're going to get up at 3 o'clock in the morning. We're going to hit the park at 4 o'clock. Now, I didn't know that 80% of the people had stayed in the park all night. I felt bad. I was in that big old suite. My son Johansson said, why do we have to get up so early? I said, I want you to walk through this crowd. 80% of these people is not Nation of Islam. That's right. So we got drug pushers here, pimps here, alcoholics. I said, I want you to walk through and see if you smell whiskey. See if you smell reefer. See if you see cocaine dust. We came here on our best behavior because we was around some strange, different people. That's why we were here. don't know who you are. Got on a winter suit when it's 113 degrees. Bow tie. And don't sweat. I'll be sweating in my car with the air conditioner. Who are y'all? And see, black folks used to really be scared of y'all. Y'all knew that. Yeah, I used to see black folks get up at 4 o'clock in the morning looking for something. Nobody looks for nothing at 4 o'clock in the morning that's any good. And then Muslim standing there. Muhammad speak, my brother. The nigga bought it because he was scared. Oh yeah, give me 10 of it. And get home, the paper 5 years old. He ain't about to bring that back. But I tell you what, if you get you a 5 or 10-year-old Muhammad speak today, you think they wrote it last night. That's how far. That's how far. Huh? And you trace that all the way back to that little meek and humble man. Somewhere. Just understand who you are. I remember 2 days before the march, I was talking to the Honorable Brother Farrakhan. He said, what do you think? How you think it's coming out? It's going to be good, man. You think anything we should do? Yeah, you should have a rumble. I say, rumble? What's that mean? Rumble meant a fight before you become a Muslim. It meant fight. They didn't listen to me. And the press was lying, trying to talk about how many. I said, see, I told you, went and had a rumble. I can see the paper now. 200,000 chasing this white lady down the street. I know how many was there, because I got a friend in naval intelligence. 1,900,000. Only 2 arrests. A little dumb, ignorant white boy on 14th and U called in a bomb scare. And the boy was so ignorant, the cops kept him on the phone long enough to go there and arrest him. And the Chinese selling hot dogs without a permit. Police was shocked because they don't know us. They don't know us who we are when we feel good about something that we know is right. I go to a lot of penitentiaries and talk. When I go talk to the folks on death row, I ask them a simple question. How come there's never been an atheist on death row? What is it about people that don't believe in that God don't kill folks? It's a game. Somewhere. And so when you stop and think about it, especially you young ones, you don't know what it was like. They talked about Nation Islam worse than they talked about Hitler and them Nazis. But they didn't count. It was me. It was the black folks who made a difference. That would never be a Muslim. But they look at you and they wish they could see their boy. They look at you standing on the corner manable. Not manable to some white folk because you're trying to get past them. Manable to black folks because they love you. If you fainted out there in that heat back then, they wouldn't run and ask, are you a Muslim? You're just a human black person, and that binds us together. And I say, thank you. Let me tell you something else. When Malcolm was killed, they had black folks convinced that you did it. That you did it. Why not? Y'all look weird, always dressed, got a shirt and a bow tie on. Y'all ain't normal. Let me tell you something, especially you older brothers who was out there. When the word went out that Malcolm had been murdered, not one of you on the corner had to run from your life from black folks. It was just something we knew that we don't have to turn on NBC to figure out who did it. Huh? Nobody could say, brothers beat me up. The folks that love Malcolm, they jumped on me and nothing. There's something when you get real down, can't nothing change it. That's who you are. I used to hear black folk talk about, yeah, I'm going to put Billy in that Catholic school. Them nuns will make him behave. That a hell of a thing to say. Some nuns? Wow, wait till y'all find out what the priest is doing. Somewhere, when you leave here, just send love to these brothers and sisters who run this. Take love to the old folks. Always ask the old folks, I just come by to see if you need anything. No, I don't need nothing. God takes care of my needs and I get my wants on my own. Have you ever just went by to visit? Huh? Just to go spend some time talking.
Come on now.
And shut up and listen to her. They say the same thing. They're going to tell you about Jesus like nobody else exists. Just shut up and listen. Sitting there with her ankles swollen up like elephant ankles, breathing heavy, and going to tell me about Jesus.
Come on. Come on. Don't stop. Don't stop.
I was someplace and they said, tornado. Looked like going to be one of the worst we ever had in Kansas City. People ran from the church. So I got up and left too. I don't know where they're going. They're running from God. So where did I go? I went to the whole house. I didn't go in. I just went there because you ain't never heard of a bank or a gambling parlor or gangsters getting hit by a tornado. I went where it was safe. Y'all saw that earthquake that hit Haiti? Tore up everything. Did you find it? Tore up everything. The black cardinal was killed. The black cardinal was killed that day. The whole church crumbled. The jail crumbled. Y'all see that? Yes, sir. Thieves and rapists got out. Not one of them got killed. So I wonder who was the cardinal praying to. It's in here. See, I've been in Christian church all my life. I've been all over the world. I can recognize a prostitute by her behavior, the way she walks, the way she chew her gum, the way she shake her hips, the way she put her wigs on. But if a Christian don't tell me he or she's a Christian, I don't know as one. How is it I can recognize a hoe by her behavior, but I can't recognize my Christian mother and brother and sister? Something wrong. Something wrong. Somewhere. I remember when I was a little boy, I used to hear my mama talking about hearing black folks in the alley gambling, praying. Come on, God, I got to get some shoes for my baby. This nigga ain't got no shoes. But I heard my mama say, it is wrong to pray to God to win when you're gambling. I didn't pay no attention to it. It sounded right. Until 10 years ago when that Powerball went up to $400 million. I said, God, you know my mama ain't never knew nothing. I prayed, but not scared prayers. Some of y'all so busy scared when you pray. You don't even make no sense. I was a grown man before I realized you're not supposed to pray to God twice for the same thing. That shows you have no faith. Grandma's sick. Grandpa died one time, and then from that, you're in a prayer of thanksgiving. Well, pray to God, talking about my house note. What kind of God is God didn't know your house note was due? You got to tell God that milk is sick. God knows, just say, hey, fix it, champ, I know you can do it, and keep going. So I prayed that night, I ain't gonna lie to you. I said, God, you know, I don't know if my mother was right, but she ain't never been right about nothing else. So I'm coming to you to pray to you tonight that I can win the lottery. And I'm not talking about winning the lottery with no 12 other people. I think I could do that without prayer. I want to win all of it. Then I showed God my ticket. I got a brother in St. Louis, he prays to win, ain't never bought no ticket. I said, you asking for a miracle, boy. And then I got real down with God. I said, God, you know if I win, you know my heart. Now, I got one little thing I just kind of go over with you. I've been married 44 years at that time. I said, I don't think I'd leave that black woman if I won. But I really can't be sure about it. You know, when you got big money, you see things. I ain't never had no $400 million. You see things you never saw before. You know what I'm saying? I get that $400 million, go in the house, I've been married to that woman 44 years. I said, Lil, what's wrong with your shoulder? What do you mean, Mama? You knew I had this hump in my back when you married me. I didn't see it till today. This is who you are. I was in Budapest. White folk always try to tap into my head. I'm different. I done an article where I said reading and writing is a violation of God. It's ignorant, it's heathenism. But a white woman said, we got $40,000 you come over and address our conference. I said, about what? She said, what you said about reading and writing? I said, well, how you know? I asked you that because I'm wondering how you know I know. Mine is simple. And one thing you white folks got, black folks got, is stop trying to act like you from Harlem and Yale when some white folks ask you something. Right. And feel you got to tell them. So I just told a white woman, I said, well, I know that every time I go to Japan or Germany and get off the plane, I can't read a German paper. And that universal God have never made nothing that changed when you cross a border. There is no German way to have a baby. Huh? There is no Turkey way to cough. Here, just in here. This is who you are. So then she said, well, before the conference started, we just kind of asked you, what's some of the things you got on your mind? And y'all feel like you got to tell them. So I get into deep thought. I say, well, you know, I'll be trying to find out what happened to albinos after high school. They can't handle that. I'm serious. Every high school has an albino, and then they just disappear. I don't know where they go. I ain't never heard of an albino funeral. I'm on planes every day, never seen an albino flying a plane or on a plane. I go to jails and talk to the inmates, ain't never seen an albino in jail. I ain't never saw a woman on TV say, that albino raped me. That'd be easy to catch. So then they said, well, you got anything else on your mind? I said, yeah, I'm trying to understand how I'm 80 years old and I ain't never seen a baby pigeon. Never seen a baby pigeon. Woman said, well, that's because you in the urban. No, I'm in the urban city. I seen a baby gorilla. Seen a baby elephant. How come I've never seen a baby pigeon? And every time I see them, they're sitting on electric wires. So where did they sit before there was electric wires? Huh? So you got to just act crazy when they leave, because they don't know. Somewhere. And people in my neighborhood said, why you like Elijah Muhammad? I want to see a black pope. You hear me?
Yes.
And I meant that. A black pope. I want to listen to somebody talking to me that look like me. Somewhere. And now you youngsters, you don't have to go through what the older ones had to go through. I look at Malcolm. Me and Malcolm was like that. Me and Elijah was like that. When they killed Malcolm, I knew it was the government. And after we started doing serious research, we got the order that went out from the FBI to send Malcolm letters forging Elijah's name on it, and sending Elijah Muhammad's letters for Malcolm's name on it. That's what that was about. And so I just wanted to ask a simple question. If this wasn't a federal crime, how come the government got the autopsy of Malcolm? So we went and got it. We had the autopsy of Malcolm. We all watched them black men shooting up at Malcolm. The autopsy don't show that all the bullets in Malcolm was going down. I mean, them thug, pimp, hustlers that they thought they was going to get to kill back, they gave them blanks because they couldn't believe even they would do that. And when we got it, I didn't put it in the book, I kept it so they wouldn't be able to get out of jail. Let them stay in there till they rot. And then now the government have admitted that the CIA had rented the Ottoman Ballroom 2 weeks before Malcolm was shot. That's where they went in and cut the holes in the wall. They got pictures of it and everything. When I heard Betty probably wouldn't make it through the night, I was in Philadelphia fast in front of a federal courthouse about a trial that had been fixed against some black folks. I got on a plane, flew to New York, got a cab and went out there where Betty lived. And that night, I went in and started talking to the neighbors. The neighbors said it was 4 men with hoods on. They wasn't talking about Klans. They was talking about hiding their face. Came in and threw this flame of wood and took that little boy outside in the rain. In the rain. And then blamed it on him. Blamed it on him. And then killed him not too long ago. Somewhere. You got to know what we go through. But you got to know who you are. You didn't leave us, even when we didn't like you. Who these folks here don't want to be with Jesus? Well, I know some Jews don't want to be with Jesus. Because Jews can't be Christians. Somewhere, when you think about what you all have survived, just not preachers talking about you, or black folk, the whole United States government, the most mighty, powerful government ever existed in the history of the planet, and y'all still here. Didn't come out the house loaded with guns because you was worried about them. You said, we got something that came to us. That we know fear is a violation of God. We know what we have. There ain't nothing you can do about it. You think you got some power. Watch this. So we say thank you. Thank you. And keep on understanding who you are. Don't buy into that crap, black on black crime. What's black on black crime? Are we just tired of black folks killing black folks? Well, if we went to China tonight, who you think killing Chinese in China? And if we go to Italy tomorrow, who you think killing Italians in Italy? And if 98% of white folks that got murdered last year in America was murdered by white folks, if they ain't talking about white on white crime, why are you stupid enough to let them tell you about black on black crime? You kill where you live. And if you tired of seeing black folks killing black folks, then join the NAACP, the Urban League, get out of it with all of it, and integrate this country. And if I'm living in a white neighborhood and my old lady make me mad enough to want to shoot somebody, I'm not going to get in my car and drive back to the ghetto. Well, you see, they think they started Stand Your Ground. It was the civil rights movement. We stood our ground, a bunch of ignorant, evil, gun-shooting police that would kill God, and we stood there and said, bring it on. Huh? That's the real Stand Your Ground. And without that, America wouldn't be the way it is today had it not been for us. Think about this. Before that 60s civil rights movement, before that movement in the 60s, a white woman couldn't do nothing at the airport but be a stewardess. She couldn't be a janitor. She couldn't be a mechanic. Before our movement, the only thing a white woman could be was a stewardess, and in order to be that, she had to look like something off the center page of Playboy magazine. And now, anytime you go to the airport and get on a plane now and see an old, ugly, short, fat white stewardess, we got her that job. Huh? Not her brother, not the United States Marine. We got her that job. Don't you know that before that movement, a woman couldn't be a cop in America? And because of that movement, when we stood our ground, women head police departments, huh? Head forensic, head coroner. We did that by standing our ground. We talk about Tavon. Huh? What do we have to do? It's simple. I'm on the radio the other day, and the brother said, boycott Florida. I said, how many times you been to Florida? He said, never. Stevie Wonder? He didn't wait to get no decision from somebody. Stevie Wonder makes so much money on one concert, the agent gets $100,000 off the top. And he said, not only will I not go to Florida, I'm not going to no state that has Stand Your Ground. No state. That's what Stevie said. No state. Stand Your Ground in 36 states, and most of them's up north, including Washington, D.C. Financed by some of the major companies in the history of the planet. Coca-Cola, Kraft, UPS. The list goes on and on and on and on. But we have the face of a Zimmerman, poor white boy. Not the big, powerful folk. So what do we do to help Stevie, just to say thanks? You go buy a record. Get your record every week. And tell him thanks. I'm asking people, don't drink no orange juice. No orange juice? Yeah. Orange juice don't just come from Florida, but you don't know which ones do and which ones don't. So don't drink none. That's something you can do. And oranges is something you got to sell. You don't have enough frozen places to freeze it. Huh? When it comes off that tree, it's ready. Huh? It's that simple. Why? Because once you show them what you all showed us, we called it a 1,000,000-man march because we knew who we are. And once you crack the orange juice, just by not buying none, don't buy none. Disneyland starts getting scared. that you might not come to see us. Disneyland. You know how many of you black folks in this country will take your children to Disneyland to see a rat? But have never been to King's grave, and had he not died, you wouldn't be welcome in Orlando. Somewhere. Oh, we worried about black on black crime, and we fall for that. Listen to this. One of the fine scientists in the world, Roger Masters, he teaches at Dartmouth College in Hanover, New Hampshire. The article didn't run in no American papers. Crime linked to pollution. Polluted water can cause brain damage that turns ordinary people into violent criminals. They spray it in our neighborhood tonight. They spray lead and manganese, and once you get enough manganese, you'll kill your mama. But you all will reach out and think it's you. Black on black crime. I told a guy the other day, the white Italian mob killed so many people, they called it an organization. They called it organized crime. They killed so many, they were organized.
That's right. That's right.
Listen to this. He compared crime figures from the FBI with information on industrial discharge of lead and manganese. He found a link between pollution levels and murder, assault and robbery. Counties with the highest pollution level has a crime rate 3 times America's average. That's what's happening. But they say you doing it, something in your genes, and then we fall for it. Scared of everything. And I don't know how. Well, I'm not close enough to you. Me and my brother, we got to talk to find out, is Nation of Islam people, are they scared of death as us Christians are? We scared of death. I married my wife. The only problem I had, she couldn't handle debt. When we gonna pay Sears and Roebuck? Baby, you act like we got some money. We do not have no money. And when I get some money, Sears and Roebuck is not my first priority.
Come on now.
Matter of fact, Sears and Roebuck knew I wasn't gonna pay for that stuff when I got it. And then she wanted to defend Sears and Roebuck. What do you mean by that? I said, on the back of the application, they said, who's gonna pay for this? I said, your mama. Then I walked in the house one day, 2 weeks later, I thought Leah gone crazy. Greg. Here, Sears and Roebuck, Sears and Roebuck. Final notice. I looked at it, final notice. Thank God we won't be hearing from them no more. And I don't know how y'all scared of these bill collectors now. They're calling from India. Them jobs been out. They don't even live here. Yeah, come on down and get the money. Don't worry, they ain't nothing but trickery. That's all. Bell telephone. Take all of our phone numbers and sell them to top corporations so they can call you. And then after you get aggravated and call, and you call Bell telephone, they charge you to block the number that they gave away. Somewhere we can turn this whole thing around. That's who we are. And when you black women find out who you are, we got through slavery with you. Somewhere. So we say tonight, Thank you, nation. The only nation I know in this nation I can run to and won't get shot after I get there. Somewhere. Be careful of you inside.
Yes, sir.
God didn't make no junk. See, it's some robots do. General Motors do. Somewhere. My kidneys bother me. Well, how'd that happen? Kidney dialysis machines. We are 15% of America's population. 87% of everybody on kidney dialysis machines is black folks. That don't bother you? That don't bother you? And don't say it's a black thing. They don't have kidney dialysis machines in Africa because they don't need them.
Listen.
What tears your kidneys up? Fear. Fear that this white cop gonna shoot my child. Fear, paranoid. Did you hear that? And angry. That's why you're always angry. You ain't angry at me. Or your brothers. You're angry at a white, racist, evil system that you're not gonna do anything about. So you take it inside. What will turn your kidney problems away? Awareness, gentleness. That's simple. You've been around people that's gentle and kind and aware. They ain't got no big old box of pills. You don't need it. You have a built-in healer inside of you. That didn't come from Mayo Clinic. Somebody asked me in London 2 months ago, Mr. Gregory, you've been fasting for 40 years. What does your doctor think? My doctor been dead for 30 years. How many of y'all in this room is aware of the fact that I had one of the worst forms of cancer you could have? And y'all know? Yeah. And when you walk in that order, nothing can happen to you.
That's right.
My son's a doctor, chiropractor. I've had hernias since I was like a little boy. So I said, yeah, let me go let my son check it out. So he checked it out, and he said, oh, got a problem. This x-ray machine malfunctioned. He said, well, let me give you an MRI. It don't cost nothing. So I took the MRI, and he did what you're supposed to do. You took it for these hernias. That's what he looked at. 2 weeks later, the people who service that hospital and make the machines come in. They understand you had a celebrity in here. Let us see the pictures. And they looked at the whole picture. I said, my God, how long has he had this cancer? She showed it to the other guy and said, too late now. Nothing can be done. So they called my son in. My son called me and said, Dad, you got to get down here to the hospital quick. There's some folks here. Well, I'll tell you when you get it, but you got cancer so bad. They say, I said, son, remember, when you took those pictures, I just finished walking 10 miles that morning. Whatever I got, they just gave it to me. And I wasn't supposed to come here and see you and get the picture and somebody to come in. That's where the universal God steps in. I didn't get scared. I told my son, I said, take my name off of this and send it to the Armed Forces Institute of Pathology. Because they see my name, they say, oh no, we just made a mistake. So they sent back, and they was talking doctor to doctor, science to science. So this is the worst form of cancer you can get. It's the only kind you get working in a nuclear plant. So I asked my son, when's the last time I've been in a nuclear plant? And who owns nuclear plants? The government. So I went and said me a little prayer in the backyard. And I'll be honest with God, I ain't lying. I said, God, I know you're busy. Something probably going on in Pluto. And something got through by accident. I ended up with cancer. Now, there's a whole lot of Negroes that deserve cancer, God, but I'm not one of them. Now, if you want me to write 12 black folks' names down on a piece of paper and shoot it to you, I do that. And if you need some close to the house, I do that too. And then I looked at cancer and said, this is my body. I haven't messed with yours, and you damn sure ain't gonna mess with mine. Give you 72 hours to get out my body, and after that, I'm gonna roll on you. What did I mean by that? Just what I said. Roll what? I don't know. But I told cancer that. Then I told my son, I said, don't show this report to your mother till after your sister get married, because she's kind of a little flaky, you know. So after she got married, I showed it to my wife. She said, how could they do this? I said, come on, baby, perk up. You think I'm leaving this here for your high school sweetheart? You out your mind. I'm not going nowhere. And then I told Joe Madison, the radio guy. So he got on the radio and said it. A white doctor called me out the clear blue sky. But D.Gregory, I just heard about the type of cancer you have. There's a water in a lake down in El Salvador. We'll cure that in 5 days. So I went down there. 5 days I was cured. 5 days I was cured. Somewhere. Fear. Cirrhosis of the liver. You know how many black folks? Cirrhosis of the liver. What cirrhosis of the liver come from? Anger, rage, depression. That's what it's called. A whole lot of black folk die from cirrhosis of the liver and have never had a drink of alcohol in their life.
Right.
Huh? Just depressed, worried. What changes it around? Kindness and balance. Kindness and balance. Leaves. Lung cancer. What causes it? Grief, sadness, shame. Grief is a violation of God. Oh, we think when someone died, we supposed to grieve. You heard them old black women have been saying, she just grieving herself to death. Grief. That's what Coretta Scott King died from, grief. I knew her. The last 12 years of her life, she never ate anything that wasn't raw. Grief. The guy that played Superman, the last one? Yeah. He died. 18 months later, his wife died from lung cancer. And everybody said, I don't know how that happened. She didn't smoke. Grief. There's nothing can happen to you that's bigger than you when you tuned in to the real thing.
Come on now.
Huh?
Come on now.
Real thing. Somewhere. And so I say thanks to you brothers and sisters
Thank you, brother.
who don't need drugs. There's people go to AA. Now you know that don't work. If I was an alcoholic, I'd go get me a fifth of whiskey on my way to the AA meeting. But them 12 prayers they doing do not work, so I might as well be there. And they just say, oh, Dick's so spiritual. Take care of your body. And you got to move that ignorance out of you that got put there through the slave thug. The slave. Oh, we're going to get reparations. Yeah, we're going to get it. And you know who's going to get it for us? Them same big white law firms that got 40% of the cigarette settlement. Ain't nothing personal. Aetna Life Insurance now is trying to find somebody to negotiate to pay up front. Why? They pay for enslaving, insuring the slaves. Chicago Tribune trying to find how can we get out of this. They ran ads for runaway slaves. Somewhere. And the most horrible of all of it is when the white folks in Europe said there'd be no more slaves coming across that ocean. That's what I like about old white folks. They're trying to change life now so they can get ready to get into heaven. Y'all do it too. Black folks do it too. They be sitting on the front row dressed in white, wrapped in the blood of Jesus, because none of their organs work. If they could go back to 19, they'd be up off that front row. Somewhere. Somewhere you have to rethink everything. Everything. And you have the power to do that. So as I leave you, let me say this. The white folks say no more slaves coming across that water. Those were the ones in Europe that got filthy rich. Filthy. The northern white folks in New York, the textile industry, made more money in one day than the slave owners made with their cotton in 2 years. So all at once now, they cannot bring slaves across the water. So they said, what are we going to do? She said, well, we'll take her son, who's 14 years old, and put a sack over his head and have him impregnate Mama. That's what we're talking about.
That's what he did.
That's what we're talking about. You sound like you was there. Now watch this now. Watch this. I got a sack over my head, and I'm on top of my mother, and they so stupid, they don't know she know that's me. But here's how the universe flips it. The baby's born. If I impregnate my first cousin, the baby's going to be born deformed. So you know what happened with my mother. So all these crippled babies start coming. How you going to sell a crippled slave? They was hung with them. The only men on this planet that played a dozen is American and Caribbean men. The dozen. What's that about? Your mama? Your mama's so ugly, your mama's hair so net. It's never about the man. Why? Because in society back then, women was always blamed for deformality. And so that's why black men, only in America and the Caribbean, play the dozens. Why? Because the white folks figured out, yeah, they're crippled, but there's a lot of white folks that ain't got enough money to buy a slave. So now we'll tell them you can buy these crippled ones, but you got to buy them by the dozen. That's where that came from. You got to buy them by the dozen. It's hard enough for my mama to see us in slavery, less long to see us with our limbs twisted. The dozens. And remember what this white boy said. So y'all hear and don't hear. He said, if you got 30 seconds of nigger blood in you, you a nigger. Do you know what that white boy said? He said, in order to equal one D.Gregory, I've got to put 32 white boys next to him. That's who we are. That's what this blood is. He don't realize what he was stealing when he came over and got me. You know, we the only people that went to slavery and didn't stay in slavery 5,000 years. Do you know that? That's us. Everybody. Every slave, a minimum of 5,000 years, except us. He wasn't stealing slaves. He was stealing scientists. He was signing people could get up and read the stars. The stars. That's what he got. And that's why he couldn't control it then, and he can't control it now. And so, black woman, what a blessing you are to us. That white boy turn around and see you with this evil look on your face, and he didn't know it's because you have an abscess tooth. You ain't human. Ain't nothing wrong with you. But teach this nigga, and they take a 2x4 and beat you to death to teach the other ones be happy all the time. And mom looked at that for so long that she put her plan together. And when she see that white man looking at her son, who she knows and broke his leg, and he go get this 2x4, and black mama come up and say, Kashipi, Mr. Kashipi, that nigga just like his daddy. Give me that 2x4, I beat him to death. And mom had to almost beat you to death because a white boy would not believe a mother would kill her son. Sometime she would kill him accidentally. You know that old expression, this is going to hurt me more than it's going to hurt you? That's where that came from. Hear me now. Because what I'm thinking to tell you now is very important. Beating a child came not from Africa, from slavery. And it was an act of love. Let me convince this thug that I will kill my son. And it got to be so perfect. He left there knowing that black woman was going to kill her son. Well, when you black folks, particularly you mothers, 'cause mothers spank their children and do all that, that's where it came from, miss. And then when I go to the scientists, not some old person in the street gonna tell me, the scientists. And here's what happens. Punishment leads to shame. Shame leads to anger, then to rage. Well, you think you hitting and spanking them and all that, it's a violation of God. Hurt is hurt. There's no such thing as you gonna hurt me to teach me. If you're a brain surgeon and you cut my head tonight, and this thug over here rob me next year and stab me, the brain gets the same message. The brain don't know nothing about you a damn brain surgeon. The brain don't know nothing about you a robber and a burglar. It feels hurt and it reacts to that. Huh? It reacts to that. And so, those children, you angry with their behavior. Shaming is an assault on the soul. That's that part in here that nobody gets in there but the God power. That part gets assaulted. When shaming reaches the inner core of the soul, it leads to violence. When shaming is so overwhelming, the mind numbs itself, and the individual cannot feel anything. That's what you create with that little. Many times, leaving a psychopath or a sociopath, a living machine that can kill or maim without feeling no remorse. That's what you created in your house. Now you talk your trash if you want to, and talk about how the every woman told me I'm where I am now because of beating. She must be a fool. A beating? Yeah, my mama whooped me. And you brag about it? How old are you, 20? You ate 3 meals a day? Every day for 20 years? And you bragging about a beating? You're not bragging about the mother and father had enough food for you to eat every day. You're not bragging about that. You're bragging about some beating somewhere. Now let me tell you why I'm telling you this. What happened in Stanford, Florida, made black folks pain. We in pain. White folks is in shame. Hear me now. I can go down to the drugstore when I leave here and get me a pill and wipe out my pain. Shame, there's no pill. And I'm going to say this again. What happened in Florida with Zimmerman and the Martin? What happened? Black folks in pain and white folks in shame. When you get these many white folks that's in shame, I just read you the script of what happens. Keep your eye on it. For they are shameful. Even white folks that wouldn't give us the time of the day, they looked at that trial, they feel bad. They feel bad. Huh? And let me tell you how big that trial was. Sometimes you got to look at something you might see more than you thought was there. The Dred Scott. Dred Scott what? Come on. Huh? Went up to the Supreme Court. And what did that white boy Supreme Court in the final ruling said what? No blacks have a right that a white person have to respect. Just hold that for a minute. Say it. Let me see y'all repeat it. No blacks have a that white folk got to respect. What, didn't that come alive? Huh? Didn't that come alive? Now I want y'all to do me a favor. Old brother Leroy, he'll get right on the case too. The Dred, what? Scott. When you think about dreads, you think about what? And a black person, right? Please, Leroy, do this for me. And then put it on the radio. The case was Scott. That was the name. And if you look at the actual case, it says Scott versus, you know what that white boy's name was? Sanford. The same as that time. What's the odds of something that happened 1850 something come alive? And the name of the white boy was Sanford. So don't think this one they're going to be able to get away with. This one's up in the order now. And so somewhere, a lot of questions should have been asked. And wasn't asked. They got y'all locked into some fantasy. Locked into some fantasy. When, thank you, brother, when has there ever been a crime committed and everybody in the world know what he bought at the store but don't know about the crime? And me and my brother, we was discussing that. We used to bring from the train station. And wow, what did he say? Well, how come we didn't see the Skittles? If he's murdered and they got him in the hand, how come we didn't see a picture of that stuff on the ground? How come we didn't see Skittles and the iced tea with blood on it? Because it probably never was one. I never believed he was killed where they told us he was killed. Never. I never believed he went to 7-Eleven. You can't go into 7-Eleven without them taking a picture of you coming in and going out. How come we ain't seen them pictures? We have never seen a picture of him in that gated community, seen him leaving and coming back. Why? Why? I mean, think about that. That's very important when we get out the emotional stuff. Somewhere, all three of them, the jewelry was fixed. Somebody asked me, how you know? Remember some of y'all used to be Baptists, you joined on your Christian experience? I said, I know just on my nigga experience. No. Somewhere. Why have we not seen the picture? That's what you live in a gated community for. Not to have protection after the crime, but protection so there won't be a crime. So I cannot be staying with you and go to the store and come back and that camera didn't catch me going or coming. How come it didn't catch the fight? If me and you, brother, are homicide cops in this town, and a dude running a police station and gunned down 12 cops, and we run out the back door and confront them and shoot them dead. We cops. That ain't brutality. We shot them dead trying to stop them. They take our badge and our gun, give us a blood test and a drug test. That's procedure. How come he's not a cop? They didn't give him a blood test. How come they didn't find out if he was high? They'd do it on us. How come they didn't do it with him? Anybody, he said he had his broken nose. Nobody have come up with an x-ray showing his nose was broke. But everybody's saying, oh, he had a broken nose. Then why didn't somebody get a picture of it? Why are we going to take somebody's word for it? So when we stop all the emotions, thank you, Stephen. Thank you, brother. Thank you for just coming out there when most of us didn't know what to do. You stood up and said, I will sacrifice my income. Thank you. And so as we leave here, Besides, you're going to boycott Christmas. But what about the children? Damn the children. Huh? That's our job. Huh? To protect everywhere. And don't let nobody keep telling you in your community. You don't live in a community. A community is where you control your schools, you control your cops, you control your churches, you control your businesses. You live in a hood. What is a hood? Something you put over your head when you're trying to hide something. Somewhere you have the power. But you got to slow up and listen and feel something. Huh? Yes, I'll leave you. Rodney King. Know what happened to him, remember? They did that to start a riot. This is the New York Times. New York Times. New York Times, Sunday, May the 10th, 1992. Los Angeles police differ sharply with prosecutor on arrest total. Listen to this. Police officials said the day that the riot began, they have arrested 18,000, it's 18,213 people from Wednesday night, April the 29th, the day the riot began, to the day the riot ended. But they cannot account for 10,000 of those people arrested. Did you hear me? 10,000. Well, we can't. They stole them, put them on trains and sent them up to Goose Neck, Oregon. To the Coast Guard Hospital and took their organs. That's what they did. They stealing organs every day and call it drive-by shootings and all of that. Here's a question that nobody is asking. How could that little young 17-year-old boy lay in the morgue for 4 days as a John Doe? Mom and Dad calling the police every day, and they got him listed as a missing person. You can't get to the morgue. What is going on? What were they hiding? That's why they gave us that trial. But asked no questions at all. So somewhere, they're not going to get away with it. They're not going to get away with it. Not because we bitter or mean or evil. We just saying enough is enough. Enough is enough. How many of y'all are aware that Tavon's mother and father received over $1 million payoff from the insurance last year? How many of y'all know that? Let me see that. Because most folks don't know it. You know everything else. How come they haven't told you about this? Huh? I mean, think about it. Tavon was killed February the 26th. The insurance policy wasn't bought till March the 30th. You hear me?
Yes, sir.
You hear what I just said?
Yes, sir.
You had an accident last month. We buy a policy today, and they pay off next week. How come the New York Times, NBC, and CBS, they talking about everything else? listen to this. For 20 years, we've had junk on the moon. Pluto, Mars. And we got scientists 24 hours a day listening to them devices. And if a rock falls, they know it's a rock. If a frog belts, they know it. How come when they trying to find out whose voice with all the electronic technology, why do you run it through that machine? Huh? Don't ask my mama, is that me? She ain't never heard me hollering and screaming. She don't know if that's me or not. So you got one boy's mama say, that's my son, another boy's mama say, that's my son. All you got to do is get that electronic equipment. Your voice have a print, just like your fingernails. And it ain't no two voice prints alike. Somewhere. And so again, I say thank you. And to my brother Leroy, man, you put it out there, man. You know what I mean? And thank you, thank you, thank you. And you all are blessed to live in an area where you can get him. And so remember one thing, who you are and the power. I've watched Christians that ain't gonna be nothing but dirt hard Christians for the rest of their life. You got shoes, I got shoes, all got shoes, got shoes. Once we get to heaven, what you gotta do to go to heaven? You gotta die. I used to hear my mom and them talk about when we get to heaven, we're gonna have milk and honey. I went out and bought me some milk, and I bought me some honey, and the stuff don't taste good. Somewhere, when you tune into here, in here, somewhere, then you started seeing the trickery. I knew Malcolm. I knew Elijah. We were good friends. To this day, I never understood that Malcolm didn't understand that thug that was writing his biography. Alex Haley came out of naval intelligence, never wrote a book in his life. Huh? And when Malcolm was killed, when the book came out, with all the filth in it, nobody didn't understand that that was changed. They had me on page 122 telling Malcolm stuff about his life. So we look at it and look at it and look at it. And those of you that want to do some quick research, there's a white boy who wrote one of the best books on Africa, Harry Colander. Name of the book is The African. Kenta Kuta came out of his book. Out of his book. And you can tap up on your computer the trial in upstate New York where that federal judge made Alex Haley and the publisher pay Harry Colander $650,000 and publicly apologized to him. It's a game. And you don't have to worry about it. They got trillions of dollars to do whatever they want to do, but don't let them manipulate your heart. Don't let them manipulate this. Bin Laden was killed December 01. So what was the president talking about? He don't know nothing about it. Who was the folks that went in that room? What they call them? Navy SEALs. Are you aware all of them are dead now? Killed here in America? Huh? The 6 that went in the room and the 1 that shot him in the head, the 5 of them died in the helicopter crash and they ran it in the paper. They just didn't tell you they was those Navy SEALs. Huh? The sixth one that's supposed to shot him in the head, he was out on the rifle range with other Navy SEALs, and they shot him in the head by mistake. Oh, I love America. Huh? You hear this? You hear me? All that mess down there in Boston at the marathon. Let me tell you, I live 40 miles from there. We got a nuclear plant. If it was straight, you'd have to think, well, wait a minute, maybe this is set up to hit the nuclear plant. I called a friend of mine and said, check and find out when they shut the nuclear plant down. The race was that Monday. They shut the plant down Saturday night. Saturday night. The two agents that went down there to coordinate all the stuff to make sure don't nothing get out. The two agents. Headlines. FBI agents died and fall from helicopter off Virginia coast. That was them. That was them. So somewhere, I say thanks to you. Thank y'all. I have to apologize to the Nation of Islam that our black neighborhoods do not invite y'all in to talk to our young folks about drugs. We know y'all don't use it. We know y'all. How come black entertainers don't put X amount of money together to have y'all talk to the entertainers that ends up dead and destroyed? Not only do you not do drugs, you don't smoke, you don't drink, huh? I got people in rehab centers, like them 12 steps, as long as you ain't drinking out, you can smoke. Somewhere, you don't have to be validated by a filthy nation. You have to feel something in knowing who you are. It ain't too many people can talk about America like I can all over the world. And yet, someone was in a bookstore and bought this book. 1,001 people who made America. Let's go back before the Mayflower. On page 132, I'm in here. Think about it. Think about not trying to get permission from filth. There's a universal order that validates us all. For my brothers and sisters, I know who you are. I have 10 children, 12 grandchildren, 1 grand, and they are better off because of you. Not because of all the craziness, not because America, the mightiest country in the world, because the Nation of Islam have been there for us. Huh? And we say thank you. I tried to tell the government when they start searching people at the airport, they should get the Nation of Islam. That's right. That's right. I mean that. Why? Why? Because the first time I went in the temple, they found something in my pocket I had been looking for 6 months. Thank you.
Come on, let's give it up for D.Gregory. Let's give it up for the one, the only, the incomparable D.Gregory. Let's give him a well-deserved round of applause and show our love.
Thank you, Greg.
Have a seat for a moment. Don't depart. Just have a seat for a moment, brothers and sisters. It just started getting good right at the end. Did you pay attention to about those 6 Navy SEALs? You heard about the 5 going down, didn't know who it was, right? And with the one that was killed that we did know who wrote the book, why didn't he shoot the other person? He only shot him. Something to think about. And the teachings of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, which our brother has said has affected him, and knowing the Honorable Elijah Muhammad personally, causes us to think outside the box. So as I allow our staff to close this out, once again, we saw this brother, but we want to bring this brother back up front. Brother Charles, come on up front, brother, who put this program in motion, who gave us the thought and the idea on behalf of the Fruit of Islam. Let's give Brother Charles Muhammad a well-deserved round of applause as we bring him up front. We just got to thank you, brother. Let's thank our brother for all his efforts. Reaching out and making the contacts. We wish to thank all of our departments, the ministry, protocol, secretarial department, security, those that have transported D.Gregory and will continue to do so tonight, that have made it happen. But give yourselves a hand, because if you were not here tonight, then there would have been no program. And we salute every one of you. Thank you, Brother Brown. Anything you want to say? Now, brothers and sisters, there's some wonderful vegetarian food that has been made, salads and other things that are available, which will be talked about in a moment. But I just want to make this announcement. As D.Gregory said, he's 81. And he says that, I think he made a paraphrase, that not many besides himself can go around and talk about America like he does. But we in this room and in this nation knows that there is one who is happy that he's doing it. But we know that there's one who's talking, who's challenged, who's threw down the gauntlet, who's called for the fight, who's called for the rumble in the jungle. Minister Farrakhan has called the synagogue of Satan out in the public venue. He knows they won't come, but he wants us to know that the truth is on our side. So tonight when you go home, go to NOI.org. You don't even need to write it down. NOI.org, nationofislam.org, and hear the time and what must be done. Part 29. Last week, part 28 was how Satan came into existence. And we really don't know, but if you listen to him, you will hear the truth from the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. You can archive all 28, but tonight, part number 29. The minister just taped it this week. If you want to see what he looks like at 80, if you want to see what his spirit is like at 80, going to 81, then go to the time and what must be done. Because there's no let up on the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan. So at this time, I turn the program back into our capable staff that will make the requisite announcements that you need to hear before you leave tonight. We thank you on behalf of Muhammad Mosque No.7, on behalf of the Nation of Islam. Let's give another hand to our brother D.Gregory. Thank you.